All right, we are live. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have Mr. Kylar Merrell, and he's going to be talking to us about comics from the kitchen through his company, Foreign Press Comics. And we're also going to be talking about putting your best foot forward. It's coming up next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man, Merrell, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live once again. What's up, Lou? We are live once again. It is Tuesday night. This is June 13th. You know, summer is next week. We are coming in with the heat, baby. We're going to be talking about comics from the kitchen with Foreign Press Comics. La Cocina. Very interesting concept. It is an anthology that tells stories about different cultures. And at the end of every story, they've put a recipe for the dish that they're talking about within the comic book story. So it's very interesting. It's very unique. I like the concept. I can't wait to talk to Kylar and just talk to, just ask what made them come up with this. So that's going to be fun. We're also going to be talking a little bit about putting your best foot forward. We'll explain to you what that means in just a few minutes. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, comment. Thank you very much to all of you who have already subscribed and have gotten us to the to that goal of over 1,000 subscribers, which is very, very awesome.
Yes, so and it continues to grow. So it's pretty fantastic.
That's right.
It's trending nicely. What's up, Phantasmagorical? I had to say that slow.
What's up?
In the house. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's been, it's we're back. It's been another, busy week, I think, for both of us as far as work outside of this goes. So it's nice to kind of come on and just talk with creatives and just, get some of our creative juices flowing. Yeah, but what's going on with you, Sam? What you been up to, dog?
What I've been up to? I've been eating these fantastical peanut butter filled pretzels. They're pretty fantastic.
And is that a sponsor of the show?
and they go well with an old fashioned, which is pretty fantastic. No, what I have been up to? I've been preparing for waiting for the proofs to come in for the Kickstarter. So that's one thing I'm waiting on. And I've been working on book number 6 on top of the publisher for A Kid in a Comic asked if I would do a how to draw duty for one of the issues. And so I submitted that this morning, worked on it this weekend. If you watch the episode of The Art of Samuel, you'll see the process of me putting that stuff together on creating a how-to guide, and then finishing part 2 of the inspiration wall. If you can see behind me, I got some new. I changed out the posters behind me.
Hold on, Sammy. Hold on. Before you go into that, talk a little bit about the Kid in the Comic, because I don't think for people who haven't watched the show, or maybe it's first time coming on the show. A Kid in the Comic is a newspaper. So yeah, talk a little bit more about that and what and how.
So Duty is multitasking, bro. Duty's a comic book, Duty's a kid's book, and he's also a comic strip published by A Kid in a Comic. and which is in stores and continuing to expand its reach in stores. And the next step is newspaper distribution. So Duty's in a Kid in a Comic. It's a publisher. If you go to kidinacomic.com, you can actually subscribe and get the papers delivered directly to your house, like the old days with the Daily News or the New York Times. Or you can go to your local comic shop. If they don't have it, of course, that they carry it. And it's pretty fantastic. You know, we've had the guest, the publisher on our show. If you've missed that episode, go check it out on our channel. I'm making carbonara while listening. You make me some, dang it. And so yeah. So Duties, you know, I submitted 4 strips so far. I got 3 more as part of my contract. It's 7 strips for the year. And we'll see. Hopefully, you know, Duty becomes one of the popular items in the newspaper, that it becomes a constant. So we'll see going forward what happens there. So that's what a Kid in a Comic is. And so in Duty not only has a comic strip, but there's also a how to draw Duty in one of the actual issues, which I'm pretty excited. So it's like double duty. It's fantastic, bro.
Yeah, so the newspaper has not just comic strips, but it also has like a section where it has, you know,
activities, puzzles.
Activities, exactly, puzzles.
Yeah.
And one of the activities is how to draw Duty within the newspaper.
Which is why it was like meant to be, because every issue of There's Nail in My Toilet has puzzles and activities in the back of the book. So I was like, oh, this is just perfect, man. It's Duty's home. It's his playing ground. And
do they have any of those in this issue? Like, do they have?
Yeah, they got puzzles. Activities. They got activities. They got the same thing that you would find in Duty. Like here they have you know, Clue. Find. I actually turned to the page of Duty. So let's see what else do they got. They got a lot of fantastic mainstream artists in this series. They got a maze. They got old. They got a how-to guide, how to draw section. So they got plenty of stuff inside it for everybody. What I like about it is that it's an homage to the good days, right? You know, I mean, when comic strips were like on fire and comic books was on fire, it was those days. And if you missed that, speaking of that, the age, if you missed the episode of the Craze Intent or Less, where I talk about there'll never be another image revolution, go check out that episode. The episode's on fire. That episode actually broke 1,000 views already. So it's actually a pretty popular topic, but there's a reason why there'll never be another image revolution, because that group had purpose and there was a mission and there was a villain in that story, and the villain was the big two. And so you don't have that anymore. So check out that episode. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that, and then the only thing I'm getting ready for is the tour. So I got the Denton Comic Art Exposition coming up in August. Right after that, a book signing at for the grand opening of a brand new location for Collected Comics. They got 4 locations. They opened up a brand new one. So I'm one of 4 on the list to be there for a book signing. Then in September, the College Station Comic Con. And then after that, the Arlington Comic Fest. So that's what I got going on right now. I got more events coming up towards the end of the year, and I'll announce that as I get closer.
Yeah, bro. It's gonna be a good summer, man. It's gonna be a busy summer. I'm actually linking up with Mr. Mark Torres from It Came From the Radio. He's got a comic book called Designated, and we're gonna be doing a book signing July 19th. That is a Wednesday afternoon, 3 to 6 p.m. in Flushing, New York, in Queens. It's gonna be at Royal Collectibles. That's 9601 Metropolitan Avenue, if you guys are familiar with that area. So yeah, check us out. We're going to be there. It's going to be me, Mark, one of the cover artists, Mr. Russ Braun, and then Jenny Feldy, who is she's going to cosplay one of the characters in the book. So that's going to be fun. We're going to be there Wednesday, July 19th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So check us out. Designated. Cool comic. And if you guys haven't picked up a copy of the book, go to Designated, go to Crowdfunder, type in Designated, and you should be able to get a copy of the book.
Yeah.
I think it's still up there. Yeah, it's still up there. So yeah, Mark is doing his thing, man. 30 years in the making. You know what I mean? He's been working on
Mark
this book
is a really
years,
good guy. Bro. Yeah, he's a really good guy. I wish he would have done better on his campaign. Really, I mean, the guy is, when you think about, first of all, when you think about just genuine, like the kid, the guy is authentic. He's genuine. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He loves comics. He loves the game. Yeah. He's so passionate about it. I mean, he gave us our spotlight when we were just up and comers, bro. when we were just first Crazy Comics, and he, we drove out to Long Island to go on his radio station, and he's been a big advocate for what we did for so many years, so when he decided to launch his thing, of course I was going to support it. I just wish a lot more people would have rallied, because and that was my frustration. He gave so many people, hundreds and thousands of people, the spotlight. I just wish that everybody rallied around him and said, you know what, this is his time. Let's support him. He's been supporting us throughout these years. I just feel that there was a failed attempt to really rally around a guy that really, really put people on. And so shout out to you, Mark Torres. You're the man.
Yeah. He's been around for years, man. His show used to be called The Comic Book Novice. And
and we were definitely novices.
And he used to do that out of in Long Island, because I think he's still in Long Island. But
I remember
local stations in Long Island.
Yeah, I have the video. Yeah, we were youngins, and I remember we were with those big time. We go there, we were like, "Yo, this is the official radio station." It was exciting back. It was dope.
So Mark's been doing this for many, many years, and the funny thing is, back then I didn't even know he had a comic. Like, I didn't even know he was working on a comic book.
None of us did, bro. When he decided to,
it was just like, I mean, he might have talked about it, to the people that he was closer with, but we didn't know that he had one until I think he was on the show a few years ago when we came back. Yeah. He was on this show and he wanted to come on and talk about the fact that he was bringing it back and that he was working on it. I'm like, holy cow, man. Yeah, so, big shout out to Mark, man. Big shout out to Mark. I'm happy for him. Glad his book is out. So if you guys haven't done so yet, go to Crowdfunder. That's CROWFNDR.com. And look up Designated. Pick up a copy of his book. And we're going to be signing it, like I said, on Wednesday, July 9th.
Oh, he still has it available through Crowdfunder?
Yeah, that's Crowdfunder, because it becomes a store. So I think it's still up there. Yeah, I think it's still up there. So you can still you can still pre-order the book or order the book. I mean, he's got a bunch of them that he's already printed out. So check it out. Definitely check it out, man. But
that's pretty dope. I like that.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool stuff. But Sam, we got something to talk about today. We got a little topic.
Let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to figure out. I think it's time. It's time to get your meds.
It's time for your medicine.
Put your best foot forward. In other words, don't do a hack job. What?
Yes.
What?
Yes, this topic. I was actually, it's funny. I was talking to, big shout out to Hades from ASAP Imagination. We're having a conversation, and I don't know how the topic came up, but we were talking about how, some people maybe aren't content with how much they're getting paid for a job, let's just say, and they decide, you know what, you're going to get what you pay for. And so they do a half-ass job, you know what I mean, and decide that's the best way to go. Now, Sam, we know a little bit about this. We know a little bit about you. You want to speak on the subject? You want to talk to us a little bit about this?
The summoner. Those summoners, bro. You son of a biscuit. So yeah. I mean, we had a project we were working on, and we had a specific budget, and we put it out there, and people bid on that budget, and people accepted the budget. What we got was nothing compared to what they were posting and what they were doing for other companies, bigger companies.
Yeah.
So they weren't giving us their best, and they weren't promoting it, and they weren't doing none of that stuff. And so for me, that was a big lesson learned about you want to find people that love your project, that look at it as an opportunity to grow. Because here's the way I look at it, right? So I used the same colors for 3 years. For 3 years, because I'm loyal that way, right? So some of these artists don't get it. We talk, in the community. Yo, I see that this person worked for you. Would you recommend them? No. Why? Because they didn't give us their best. They gave us they give us what they felt that we deserve based on what we paid them, but they accepted the fee. Right. Based on their portfolio, we're like, yo, this is going to be a good match. And then what you get is totally opposite. So I think if you're going to put your name in the game, especially in the community, you want to make some money, people are going to talk. And and your reputation is everything. So if you accept the money, don't complain about it afterwards. If you say this is I'm good. I'll take whatever X amount per page. Deliver. Don't start complaining after the now. Oh, I should get more money because your boy negotiated a better deal with somebody else, and now you got sour grapes. Ain't my fault. Ain't my fault. This is the budget I had. You accepted it. You said, "Oh, I'll take it." You didn't have to, right?
Yeah, no, yep. And I think that's key, right? That's key because everybody, listen. Do we think that artists should get paid? Absolutely, man. Nobody should be working for free. Absolutely, you should get paid.
Word.
But when you are negotiating a rate and you agree on that rate, then I think to me, you have to, like the topic says, put your best foot forward.
Yes.
Put your best foot forward, man. Like I remember when I was hiring the guys over at Studio 9 Lives, big shout out to them. Those are the artists that are working on my books. They said to me, okay, we have different levels of artwork or different styles.
Tiers.
Yeah, it's tiers, right? They have like a more simpler style is going to cost you this much. A more intricate style is going to cost you this. And if you want it to look like mainstream, kind of comics, is going to cost you that. I was like, all right, well, I got to work within my budget. Let's go with the simpler style. Cool. Simpler style became Wonder Duck, right? If you look at Wonder Duck, the art style in that book looks professional still because you are getting paid to do a job. So if you're getting paid to do a job, the only person you're doing any kind of damage is to yourself.
Word.
Because if you think that, oh, these guys are only giving me that much money, well, I'm going to give them that, and that, it's their project that's going to suffer for not paying me high dollar amount. It's not. Because I always say this, bro, if the story is solid, that book is going to continue selling. It's not about the artwork at that point because because the story is so good. Yeah. All that happens at that point is they look at the comic and say, yo, this comic is dope, but this artwork sucks. And guess what? Your name is on the book. So they know who is the artist that sucks. So why put yourself out there like that? Why do that to yourself? If like Sam said, if you're not happy with the rate, just say no, walk away, dude. Like I can't do it for that amount. Cool, no problem.
Yeah, I negotiated with a cat. The guy that did that amazing piece for the Forbidden graphic novel cover. The guy's he does game design, gaming, for gaming magazines, all that stuff. The guy, he's top tier, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, my budget, and he's like, look, if you can go up by this much, I'll take care of you. I'll make sure that. And I was like, all right. I met him halfway, right? So I pull out the extra bucks, whatever. The guy gave me such a beautiful, beautiful double page, a spread. The colors and everything.
Right. Not
only that, but during the thumbnail process, he would say, what do you think about these angles? What do you think about this angle? Blah, blah, blah. The roughs, the whole thing. He stood to his word. Now, I wasn't paying him what he was getting market rate, what he would charge the magazines, right? But he met me halfway because he's like, all right, I like the concept. And that was the biggest thing. He's like, I really like the concept. I'll meet you in the middle. Can you go here? I said, cool. And he delivered. Same thing with the guy that we were working with, right? He's like, hey, can you go up by this much? And I did. And he still didn't give the 100%. So that for me is like, all right, I'll never use you again. And if anybody asks me about you, I'm going to say, don't use them.
Right.
And that's just keeping it real. So I think you have an obligation, to like, the one guy that I had, he did 4 books on Forbidden, and he was killing it, so I took care of it. I tipped him for every issue because I was so happy with what he was doing. I was like, I kept throwing him extra, right? And he was like, yo, so every time he would do these amazing spreads and these big epic scenes. And I'm like, because he's like, yo, this guy really appreciates my work. It's in my best interest. And that's what this other cat didn't realize. Yeah, we might have a budget to begin with, but if we get a little extra, we'll throw it your way just to say, you know what, I got you, right? Some people don't even, they don't even allow that to happen. They go into this zone mentally because what happens is other people are saying, yo, you got that? I got this. But you might not be on that other guy's level. So stop comparing.
Well, the other thing is what happens is you kind of question that artist. Like what you're posting on social media, is that really you doing that artwork or is that somebody else doing the artwork? Because what you gave me was definitely not that. So who's doing that? Is that really you?
Yeah.
Or are you, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on there? Because we're not getting that. Now, it can definitely be a thing of like, well, you're not paying me for that. Okay, cool, no problem. I'm not paying you for that. But it still looks fishy that you're giving me this.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
there's a
posting
reason why
that.
now. I mean, I don't have a. I do my own work on duty, but there's a project I'm considering, commissioning somebody for. But what I do is part of the deal is you have to first give me a one pager with my characters so I can see that it's actually you. Right. And so I say, and that'll be part of the payment. I'll make sure that paid whatever. But I say, here's page whatever. I'll pick a page in the book. I give you the character designs. I want to see your rendition of my characters. That's part of the negotiation process. That's what I do now. And that's it. So I think you learn from those things, right? So it's like, and then you set the tone. Can you deliver this all the time, every time? That's the next best thing. It can't dip. I don't want to go back and forth because there was this one colorist. I remember it was this colorist. His portfolio was nothing for what he was sending me.
Yeah.
I dropped that contract like a bad habit. I was like, oh, hell no. You're not giving me exactly what your portfolio showed. I said, this is totally opposite. This is horrible. Right. So I think, you got to be smart about it. Protect yourself because, and a lot of these guys, they want 50% down, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If I'm going to outsource, I'll use Fiverr because Fiverr protects my money. They hold it in escrow. Right. And they don't give you don't get your money until it's confirmed that I'm getting what I paid for. So, and it's unfortunate. Sometimes you have to do that unless I have somebody that I know that recommended somebody is legit and they're credible. That's the only other way that I'll do it that way. Because I had a colorist from Fiverr that, the first book we did with her, she did a fantastic job. And she's like, hey, you might not going through Fiverr anymore and just go directly to me. I said, sure. So we worked out the terms on how many pages and every 5 pages I paid her. Every 5 pages I paid her. Right. And then I did it through PayPal. So when you are set, for me, I'm very loyal. If I like your work, I'm going to give you work as long as I have the work. And you're always going to be at the top of my list. When you pull some stunt like that, you're going to go to the bottom of the barrel. And I want to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah. No, I mean, and this, as long as the work is consistent and it's good,
yeah,
it's at the list. But if you're sending in, half-ass work, it's tough to work with somebody like that. You know what I mean? It's tough. So yeah, so that's the topic today is, put your best foot forward, man. If you don't like the terms of the contract, or if you feel like you're not being paid what you're worth, then don't take the job. It's as simple as that. Don't do it. Don't take the job. But if you are going to take the job, then make sure you are doing your best.
It's the same thing. Like first, I'll give you a good example. Like at conventions now, I have tiers. If you want a quick sketch, which is a quick sketch, just a quick sketch, I will do a quick 5x7 quick sketch for $5, which is just boom, 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 right? If you want a full rendering, and I'm at a convention, the price goes up. If you want it colored, the price goes up, right? But I'm gonna make sure that I hook you up, right? So it's but I negotiate that in the beginning, so I'm clear about that, right? So here are the tiers, right? I think what happens is some of these artists, it only happens after they sign that contract, and they go back and they get sour grapes. I should be getting paid more. I should be getting more, right? But why? And a lot of it comes from the fact that maybe they're asked to draw something that they're not really comfortable. It's not their strong point. So then they get angry. Oh, I hate drawing this. I should be getting me paid more, right? And so I think you got to be honest. Like I had one guy says, look, if you're looking for sci-fi and mechanics, I'm not that guy, right? But if you're looking for this, I'm that guy, right? So, one guy said, I don't like to draw horses. It's like, well, then you can't work on this job because I got a lot of horses in Forbidden, right? Yeah. And but he was honest. He's like, yo, I don't like to draw horses. I can't draw horses. I was like, all right, cool. Don't worry about it. I'll find somebody else. Be honest. But don't get pissed off because now you looked at the script and like, oh, they're asking me to draw all this? Damn, right? Yeah. So, and I always send a sample of the script, part of the negotiation. Here's the sample script. Here's the character designs. This is the scope of work. This is the budget. Can you do it? And this is the timeline. I'm very honest up front, right? So if all that shit, if all that is transparent on the table, yo, why are you tripping? Why are you tripping? Just say, why are you tripping?
Nice. Why you tripping, dog? Why you tripping?
What?
But
Yeah,
yeah,
stop acting
definitely. I
cool,
mean, listen,
homie.
if you guys are freelancers, hey, what's going on, Hades? If you guys are freelancers and you're looking for work and you don't like the terms of the contract or whatever, don't take the job. If you do take the job, put your best foot forward. Don't half-ass it, because your name is going on that piece of paper. Your name is going on that on whatever work you're doing. So
Say
the only
my name.
people, because see,
My
the thing
name.
is, the consumer doesn't know about what's
No.
happening behind the scenes. All they know is what they're seeing. So if they're seeing crappy work, they don't know that you didn't get paid for that. They're assuming, hey, this person is on this book. They either got paid. They don't care if you. As a matter of fact, they don't care if you got paid. They just care that whether it's good or not, and that's all they're going to care about. And let's say, for example, the person picking this thing up is somebody who maybe he's looking for an artist, sees this, like, I'm not using this guy. Based on this, just based on this, I'm not using them. So, you know, put your best foot forward, do your thing. You know what I mean? The only person you're hurting is yourself when you're doing stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, man. And I'm just waiting to see if our guest is in the back room right now. His camera's off. So as soon as he puts the camera on, we'll bring our guest. There he goes. He heard me. What's up? So we're going to bring in our guest, Kylar Merrell. But before we do that, we just want to remind you, if you got something to promote, why not reach out to Catch the Craze podcast?
Are you sitting at home wondering how you're going to spread the word about that Comic-Con that you're about to appear at, and you want to get some press? How about your first book signing? How do you spread the word so you can get an audience there? Or that first panel at a Comic-Con? Who do you talk to? Or even your first crowdfunding on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. The world is turning to podcasting to get the word out. Why not you? Sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze and start promoting yourself today.
What's up? Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome, buddy. How's it going?
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
Good, man. Good. How's it going, Kyler? Where are you streaming from?
Oklahoma. Right now, a little
Oklahoma.
town called Ada. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, I knew an Ada in elementary school.
Okay, yeah, this is named after a girl, so it's named after Ada somebody. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
There you go.
That's what's up. I got to get out to Oklahoma, man. I'm trying to visit every state in the nation. I got to get out to Oklahoma. I usually go out for like sporting events.
Yeah.
But you guys don't have any like professional. Well, Oklahoma City actually got the Thunder out there, right?
We got the Thunder, but like if you want like Oklahoma sports, it's OU football, which right now is kind of not on, but that's a whole other thing. But OU come to a softball game. That's where we're at. We just got the third championship in a row, third national championship in a row. We won like 50 something games in a row this year.
Wow.
Our girls softball team, our OU softball is like they're one of the best in the country. So that's what you got. Yeah, there you go.
Cool stuff, brother. Cool stuff. Well, listen, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you coming on. We were talking a little bit about the concept behind the book that you're here to promote, which is Comics from the Kitchen. Yeah. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about that. But before we get into that, I know you're in Oklahoma. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kylar. Like, where did you grow up in Oklahoma? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from Oklahoma, like just in terms like, this is where my whole family's from, all that kind of stuff. But I grew up overseas on a military base in Japan. My dad was a teacher, so it was an American base, U.S. Army base, Camp Zama. And so, I grew up over there. But we spoke English. Everything was in English and stuff like that. But then I came back to the States for college, and this is where I've been in Oklahoma ever since. Except for I spent 2 years in Louisiana, but other than that, this is right where I've been.
That's what's up. And do you speak? Did you pick up the language at all?
No, I mean, like I can count to 10, say please, thank you, excuse me, that kind of stuff. I can I'm a teacher, so I remember how to write my name, and that impresses kids all the time. And then if I can write their name, that really, that's awesome. And it's not like that much, but I can write a name, and they're like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like,
that's cool.
Sure, whatever.
That's cool. Did you pick up any of the manga out there, or any of the anime? Were you into any of that stuff? I don't mean they're rich in that over there.
Yeah.
So did you pick up any of that stuff?
Not particularly. I mean, I was into it, but I don't think I was into it any more than I would have been if I grew up here. You know what I mean? Just being the comics fan, I think I would have found my way to some manga eventually, but it wasn't like it was all the time, but just because like most of the manga I would have bought, off base would have been in Japanese, and I couldn't read Japanese, and a lot of the anime too. So it was just like whatever was available at the local library, which we did have a large manga selection. But like I read a lot of Naruto, but like I said, I don't think it was like I was inundated with it just because I grew up over there. There's a lot of differences in like comic culture over there surrounding manga that we don't have over here. But so I understand some of that kind of stuff that just differences I see, but not particularly, to answer your question.
What were some of the differences? Like, what are the differences that you see?
Manga is like, I don't know if it's manga or anime, but they're both very heavily intertwined, obviously. But like there will be whole ads on subway stations that will take up entire walls that are just it's just an ad for an anime, or an ad for the new some new anime movie or new series, or like I said, I don't know if I couldn't read it obviously, so I don't know if it was like ads for specifically for the manga, but it definitely was for the anime. And then you could go to like 7-Eleven or Lawson or Family Mart or whatever, and they'd have the you buy Shonen Jump, all the different stuff on the shelf with all the magazines and stuff. So it was just a lot. And like, it's not uncommon to see, you see it here, but it's not as rare to see like people just sitting on the train, reading a comic book, reading a manga or stuff like that. And so it was just a different culture where it's just a lot more accepted and a lot more like socially normal than it is here, which not that like we're outcasts or anything, but it's still kind of seen as fringe. But there, like I said, it's big enough that it's whole walls. Like, you go into the subway station, like you're going through the tunnel thing. It's just a whole wall. It's just all big thing for some anime. It's just nuts, like, dude. That's
nuts. And I think that's that. And to be honest, I think that's what's missing here, man. The fact that it's like, I don't want to say they glorify it, but it's definitely, if you're a mangaka over there, like you're like, wow, this dude draws that. You know what I mean? Here it's like, oh, he draws funny books. We call them funny books here, you know what I mean? Like that's just the level of where it is. So hopefully that can change. I don't know if it will, but but anyway, so were you more of, you consider yourself an artist, a writer? Where is your comic book geekdom and I guess skills? Where are they?
I since I was like really little, I always wanted to like be a writer of some kind. Like I remember having composition books where I would start to write stories and things like that, and I doodled a little bit too, but writing was definitely where it was at for me. And then sometime in middle school, when I started to get more into comics, like I really started to draw more and want to do more art. But I was always in that mindset, like that, I can't do that. And so I worked on my writing a lot more and wrote a lot more than I drew. And then, so I would mostly consider myself a writer, but, in college I started to draw, and that's when I started to put out comics. It was stuff that I drew because I couldn't afford an artist. So I was just let's just, I got to make it myself, and, somebody will like it. And so I started doing that. And then even more recently, I kind of saw that, like I said, I couldn't afford an artist, so I had to do all the jobs myself. And so I like doing the lettering part of it. And so now I'm getting more into being a letterer as well. Like I'm trying to, take a few gigs lettering. I have not had a lot of success on that front yet, but I've definitely had a few things here and there, a few small projects that I've done lettering for other people. So I do everything. I would say primarily a writer and then a letterer, but an artist if I have to. But I'm not going to complain about having to do the art.
How did you, I guess, so when you were writing as a kid, I'm assuming you were writing like prose and you were writing like stuff like that. How was I guess the transition from writing prose to now writing like comic book scripts? Did you find it difficult, or was that something you were able to pick up right away?
I think I picked it up fairly well because like I was never, as a writer, I mean, obviously a lot of what I was writing, I was in high school, middle school, elementary, whatever, but it wasn't even as I matured, my writing wasn't particularly verbose. It wasn't particularly it wasn't like heavily detailed. And plus I'm a very visual thinker. And so going into that comic book style really works for me because when I'm writing a script, I don't have to be as detailed as I do if I'm writing prose. Because, in prose, I got to tell you everything that's going on, spell every detail out to you. But a comic, especially if I'm drawing the comic, I can just be like, so-and-so character does this. And I know in my head what that's supposed to look like. So I think I took to it pretty well. I wish I could do prose better, but it's hard to get back into it. Like I said, after doing comics where I'm so sparse in my details and I'm like, just kind of like this, he does this, she does that. And then this is what the room looks like, whatever. But like to go back to prose where I like have to explain everything about a character, it's just like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I have the attention span.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? Like in prose, you have because your artist is almost like your safety net, right? That you know, you obviously put a page turn at the end of a comic, at the end of a page, and the artist is going to draw that for you. Whereas in prose, you have to visually tell, you know what I mean? Like you have to say that to the person visually so they can turn the page and say, oh, I know what he's saying. I know what he means. I can see it. You know what I mean? So I can see where that would be more difficult. So your scripts, the scripts that you write for your artist, aside from yourself, but when you're writing it for an artist, is it pretty an open script? It's not as detailed, I guess. It's not like I need you to put the camera at this angle and draw that. Mean, like you kind of leave it open for them?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I'm a very big, because I think one of the best things about comics is the collaboration aspect of it. And so I like, you know, if I'm going to hire an artist, I want that. I hired that artist for a reason. And I hired it because I want to see their take on it. I want to see how they're going to interpret it. But I mean, every once in a while, like there's a very specific shot that I want. Like, you know, this needs to look this way. Maybe it's just because in my head I see this specifically, or if it's like an important story beat, or maybe it's like, hey, this has to happen, has to look this way because later this is going to happen and look this way. And so like, if there's a plot reason for it, I'll be very specific with them. Like this needs to be this character needs to look like this. But for the most part, I'm just like, I'm pretty free. Obviously I still have notes every once in a while, but for the most part, it's pretty chill because like I said, I'm hiring that artist for a reason.
Right. You have Foreign Press Comics. Yeah. When did you start that?
That I started that in 2017, and it's more just a label for my work, you know, as opposed to being like an official publisher. I'm starting to branch out into publishing other people's stuff and things like that. And so we'll kind of see how that goes. But for the most part, it's just a label that I needed a name to put on my comics. I started to put out my own little shorts, and I was like, I want something to put on here. I don't want it to just be, hey, Kylar Merrell comics.com. I needed a website, needed all that stuff. And so just Foreign Press Comics is just the name that I came up with. And that's just, then I had the logo and all that kind of stuff. So just kind of evolved from there.
You mentioned the word shorts. So when you were writing or when you started doing your comics, have you always done them in like maybe 4 pages, 6 pages, or do you have full pages as far as 22-page comics?
I started out with a lot of shorts, and I still have a few here and there. Like I have one in this anthology, Comics from the Kitchen, but I do have a lot of longer, not a lot yet, but I currently have 5 issues out. 3 are of a series I'm doing, and 2 are just one shots that are single issues. And then, you know, I have a couple other single issues that I've written as well. But then I have an anthology that was shorts, but it was a narrative anthology. So like I kind of edited, and I was kind of an architect behind building the whole structure of it. And so I do a little bit of everything. I do some that are shorts, but now I'm kind of evolving to like trusting myself to like, hey, I can trust myself to pay an artist to do a longer form thing, or I can trust myself to do something longer form. So I'm kind of trying to transition to doing more longer form, multi-issue things like that.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. What are some of the ones that you are? Do you have any titles that you're working on that you can talk about as far as like they're coming out, or it's still kind of like in the works?
Yeah, I have a couple things I can mention that are just mine. Then I have other things like for Foreign Press that I'm just publishing. But the 2 that I'm working on that are still, you know, ongoing at the time are, besides Comics from the Kitchen, is my series Outlaw Country, which is my ode to country music, which has been really impactful to me. And so it's just a neo-Western crime book that I'm doing that's all just about these 3 friends who are in a small town in Oklahoma and how they deal with loss and deal with you know, and then like I said, it's kind of my ode to country music, so it ties in a lot of the common themes that, you know, you'd see in a lot of that music. So that's one of them. And then the thing that I'm most proud of that I'm currently doing is Peter the Fistronaut, which is it's short, but it's also a lot longer form. It's weekly strips that I do on my website, foreignpresscomics.com/fistronaut, about Peter, a fish in a spacesuit who travels the universe with his cynical robotic companion James. And it's like Star Trek meets Calvin and Hobbes. And I've always wanted to do a strip, like a weekly strip. And so I want to do something weekly, and I've always wanted to do that format, just the 3 panels. And so I just was like, okay, finally had this idea. I was like, oh, this fish in a spacesuit kind of came to me. And I was like, all right, that's what it's going to be. And so like he'll have, 10 strips or so in an arc. And then each one, he just goes to a new planet and gets on some kind of adventure on that planet. And so that's the thing that I'm most proud of, because it lets me tell whatever story I want to tell. Lets me do, there you go. That's one of the most recent ones, I think. But like one of them, they just go to a planet that's just a giant haunted house. And like I get to tell stories, whatever I want to tell, in a way I've always wanted to tell them. And it's really easy for me to make. I can, probably knock a whole one out in an hour if I really put my mind to it, maybe a little less. And so it's just fun. And it also makes me feel really accomplished when I can go in here and like, pop one out in an hour and be like, I did something today, even though really I just drew 3 panels of comics, but it's something. Makes me feel good.
How far, I guess you pop them out an hour, but the ideas, I guess the jokes and stuff like that, is that something that you have like kind of like you write them down in a book and then you kind of draw them, or they just come to you the day that you're drawing them?
Sort of. My scripts for these are just literally bullet points. And so it's each one has like a heading, like this one was haunted house, or they find a haunted house and encounter ghosts or something. And then under that I have like, number 1, they land on a planet. Number 2, they James is scared. Number 3, and then I just kind of go through the bullet points. And then again, because I'm doing the art, I kind of know in my head where it's going, like what's kind of needs to happen. And the best thing that I like about doing strips is that I have spent enough time with these characters that I know what they would say. I know who they are. I know, like, I don't have to think a lot about how they're going to react or what's going to happen in this situation. I know, like, and maybe that's because I did the whole first year of these. I have the first, I started in January. And so last year I made it my point before I started the first one, I was going to have the whole year done.
Wow.
And so I made it a point to have, so like by doing it for a year, I know what James is going to say. I know how they're going to react, because I have one, that I'm working on now where they get stuck in a maze. And I just knew, okay, this is what's going to happen. Plus I have in my head, like, okay, I do have a kind of an overall story I'm telling. And so I was like, okay, this is a really good spot for us to finally reveal this thing. And so it's just been really fun to get to know these characters on that level.
That's cool, bro. That is awesome, dude. So you have 365 like strips written from last year?
I have 52. I do one a week.
Okay. Oh, one a week. Okay. 52.
Yeah, one a week.
I thought it was a daily strip. Okay,
no. I wish I could do 360. That'd be awesome. Like, but no.
Sick. All right, so it's once a week. Okay, all right, that's cool though. That's still great.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. It's still pretty good. It's still, it took me. I started probably in July, August, and I got them all hammered out. So
sweet,
it was pretty good.
Sweet. And so Sam's right now. He's on your website, and we're just kind of showing this to everybody. For everybody just joining us, this is Kylar Merrell. He is the owner of Foreign Press Comics. We're looking at his website right now, foreignpresscomics.com. Right, Kylar. And we're going to be talking to him in a few minutes about comics from the kitchen. But this is interesting, man. So you have a whole bunch of stuff here on the website. It's chock full of stuff. So talk to us a little bit about some of the stuff that, when they come to your website, they'll be able to see. I see Smash Quarterly. Sam's gone through a couple of things. So what are some of these things all that you've written, or you've kind of started doing the whole?
A bit of both.
Okay.
So I have the web. I'll be the first to admit I'm not a web designer. So this is kind of not great, but I have our store. We have our Threadless store as well. Shout out to that. If you want merch, go buy merch.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, That's just something for me. But yeah, you can find all of our comics. Obviously, we have Comics from the Kitchen, which has not been updated in a long time. The webpage hasn't, because we are very far past this point. A lot of these creative teams have changed. The cover has changed.
Okay.
Which you can see all that on the Zoop page now. But anyway, so yeah, they have Comics from the Kitchen, Fletcher Cross, which is another anthology I did. Like I said, Outlaw Country I mentioned earlier. Everything on here so far is me, except with the exception of Sleep Sister Sleep, which is a comic from a South African, I almost said South Korean, South African creator, Ian Vanderwalt. He's a writer and artist. It's like a surreal, twisted, alternative take on Alice in Wonderland. And then we have an interview with him, a written interview over on the blog as well. And then the only other project right now we have two other projects that are from other creators. One of them is Smash Quarterly, which is a 4-part anthology series starting next year that is all about Smash, suspense, mystery, action, sci-fi, horror, with editor Devin R. Scott. And so plus we have a story going throughout all 4 volumes from Jared Lujan. So that's really cool. And it's just been fun to do different types of projects and do different things. And so the page for that is mostly submissions, but those are closed right now. But we'll probably be opening them for volume 3 by the end of the year. But yeah,
sweet, man. You look like you're busy. It looks like you're very busy. So
probably not as busy as it looks, but
so Comics from the Kitchen, man. Comics from the Kitchen, awesome concept. Putting something like this together, talk to me about how insane it has to be to kind of like get all of these groups of people to come in and, you know, send you all of these incredible stories, and you put them all together.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Yeah. So it's been the first part was pretty easy. I just just took open submissions, and whoever wanted to submit, I was like, let's go for it. I want to see what you got and see what you I let people submit whatever stories and whatever recipes they wanted to. I didn't have any clear qualifications for like, hey, it has to be a dessert. It has to be whatever. It needs to do this. It's just whatever story you want. The prompt was about food memory and food memories, like memories that we had that we associate with food. And so wherever they wanted to take that, that's fine. Some of them went very personal, very serious. Some people took it very fantastical and went a little weird with it, which is awesome. But wrangling people in any anthology is not easy. It's mostly just sending emails out to people all the time and trying not to send too many emails, because I don't want to blow people up, because a lot of the creators involved were very good about like, responding very quickly, uploading files on deadlines, things like that. And I had to go do a lot of preliminary work and like make Google Drive folders for everything and make sure everybody knew where to upload their stuff and all that kind of administration type business. But it gets hard when you have to you have people who stop responding by deadlines. Then you have to send that email like, hey, do you want to be involved in this? If you want to be involved, you need to let me know now, and your comic has to be turned in a week. If it's not turned in a week, I'm sorry, but you just can't do this. Not like you can't do this, but I just can't include you because you weren't able to meet the deadline. But then there's also the other side of it where I had people back out, and some people were very clear and told me very early on, hey, I'm no longer going to be able to do this. But I had a few who didn't tell me that until I sent them 1 or 2 follow-up emails like, hey, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Like, no, like, sorry, we just can't do this now. And I'm like, well, I, had your story. And so luckily I was able to get a few stories to come, a few other creators to come add one in later. So that's been really good. But then, I also have to deal with, for this anthology, we had one of our collaborators passed away in the creation of this. It was fairly early on, but Eric Carmen. So they had to Eric Carmen Senior, I think. They had to find a new artist for that, and they just dedicated their story to him and everything. Another one who is not in the anthology had a heart attack and wasn't able to participate. And so it's a lot of, not like to sound like I'm bragging, but it's a lot just having to roll with the punches and like be like, okay, well, hey, it's, I understand. and I can't be mad at those people. I can't be mad because someone had a heart attack. So it's just, I gotta find a replacement. And so I just went onto the Comic Jam, a group that I'm comfortable with, and I was like, hey, anybody able to help me up with last minute? And I got 3 stories out of that. And so from people that I love.
The reason and the reason why I asked you the question is because I've been involved and I've been a part of a few anthologies, and those things are hard, man, because of that, because of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The deadlines, and some people can meet deadlines, some people can't. Life happens, unfortunate things happen, and it's like, damn. But you're the one that has to kind of like put everything together. And listen, the anthology, you send us a PDF. Thank you so much. It looks incredible, dude. Like, it's 75 pages. It's a full. I mean, this thing is full of very, very cool stories.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the concept, dude. Like, I love you have like a video, and I don't know if maybe it's on Zoop, but you have a video of the promo of how you're cooking it up and all that other stuff. It's really cool, very nice. But what did you come up with this concept? How did it happen? How did you think, okay, you know what? It'd be cool to do comics and recipes and put them together. How did that come about?
Well, I had just done in 20. I don't know why I'm going back this far, but in 2020, I did a little anthology for. I was like, I'm going to do something. I did my first anthology, just threw it together, but I really liked it, so I did another one. Then I was like, okay, now I want to do another one, and so now I'm on this anthology kick. But I have kind of said that I want to, if I'm going to do an anthology, I don't just want to do here's a theme, here's like just a horror anthology, and it's just going to be horror stories. I want to have something else to it, some different kind of take on it. And then I also heard or had seen, I was thinking about what to do, and just somewhere I saw or heard or whatever, write what you love or something along those lines. So I was like, I like to cook. How can I combine cooking with this anthology that I want to do? And then I was like, well, I don't want to just make a cookbook on my own. So like I need to, because I don't feel confident enough in myself to be like, these are the best recipes in the world, make these. So I was like, instead, let's do it from the perspective of tell us about food memories. Like I want to hear a story a recipe that means something to you. And so I'd seen other food anthologies before, but they were just comics about food. And I'd seen I have it over there, it might be packed up already, but just like a cookbook that's just kind of drawn in a comic style, has a couple characters here and there, but it's not an actual comic book. And so I was like, I'm going to combine those two things. It's a cookbook and it's comics. It's both things. And it's something I love. It's something that I want to do. And there's a space for it in the market. And in terms of just, it's not out there. And so I made one. And since then I've seen other people who have done very similar things, but yeah, it just kind of started as I'm going to do something that I love. And I want to do it from the perspective of tell me about a recipe that means something to you, that has a lot of, just means a lot to who you are. And that's how we get what we have here. And so like here on the Zoot page, for every story that you read, you get that recipe. And it, like I've said this before, but it, by reading that comic, that recipe means a lot more. Like we have this recipe right here for pinchos, which are basically Puerto Rican shish kebabs from Ren Rios. And that story is a good story. It's a cute story on its own, and the recipe is a good recipe. But once you, by reading that story first, that recipe means something to you, because now you see, oh, this recipe is from a time after she got knocked off her surfboard and had pinchos under a bridge in Puerto Rico by some guy, right? And so now that story has meaning, and now that recipe has meaning. And so you get to be a part of that memory with her. And now you get to experience that along with her and along with all the other people we have in here. Yeah. And so it just kind of, food and memory already like fits together super well. And then to have it in a comic form where you can visually see that and see, not only see the memory, but you get to see that artist's interpretation of the memory. So you get to see it through their eyes for most of these, because most of these are done it's a writer artist, one person. A few of them are a writer and an artist team, but for the most part, you get to see that person tell their story. And I think that's really valuable to this whole experience.
No, it's awesome, dude. Do you have you tried to make any of these dishes?
No, I haven't. But I've said this before. I have a good reason. I am a school teacher, so I just got off school, and then now I'm in the middle of moving. And so I'm moving an hour and a half away. Not an hour. It's more like an hour away. But so I'm in the middle of, trying to make sure my lease goes good on this house, run this Zoop campaign, and move out. And so I'm just like,
Dude.
I have not had time. I'm currently living off of frozen, or today and tomorrow, meaning frozen tortellini with pesto, because
Nice.
I had to take stuff out of my freezer because I'm like, I can't travel with all this. So I am not at the point where I'm able to cook a lot yet, but there's definitely a few that are on my list to make.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of stuff in there, man. There's a lot of stuff in there.
And
That looks
the
really,
PDF
really
that
good.
you guys got is only about half of what the final product.
Really? Oh,
There's
okay,
about
okay.
20 stories altogether. And there were just a few that I hadn't either were finishing up their story, or I was finishing up the lettering, because all the recipe pages that you see on there are all I did all those. They drew the recipe, the dish, but I put the page together and drew little background images, things like that.
Gotcha. So how many pages is this thing altogether?
It's going to be, the Zoop page says 200, but
wow.
I think it's going to end up being closer. It's going to be close to 200. It might be a little less than that, but it's going to be pretty close. Cause like I said, we have 20 stories, and some of them are, most of them are, 7 to 10 pages, somewhere in there. So, it's a pretty dense book. It will be.
Right. No, awesome. So right now it's on Zoop. And for those who don't know what Zoop is, it's a crowdfunding platform, similar to Kickstarter, similar to Indiegogo. And Zoop is just more geared for comics, right? And so this particular campaign is on Zoop. And how long is it on Zoop for, Kylar?
It's been on Zoop for now about 2 weeks. And it will, how many days?
16 days left.
16 days. Okay, that's what I thought. I knew we were like a little over, we were close to halfway. So we got 16 days left, and we still got a long ways to go. And so, it's just me going on podcasts now. It's just me tweeting. If you go on my Twitter feed for the last 3 weeks, this is all it's been. Nonstop, just comics from the kitchen, comics from the kitchen, comics from the kitchen, all day, every day. So, it's just trying to get it made.
How does the Zoop work the same way that, say, a Kickstarter will work, where it's all or nothing kind of thing?
Yeah, okay. It's all or nothing. And Zoop's been a different platform to work on. So it's different than Kickstarter in a lot of ways, but they're really good people, and they do help to promote it, promote the book. So it's been a good experience.
Daphne says she's hungry. But yeah, dude. So Zoop. So all right. So for those watching, if you haven't done so yet, go to zoop.com. I think we're gonna have a link on the show.
It's in the notes. Is it? I just put it in the chat.
Yep. And it's in the chat. So go to zoop.com. Check out Comics from the Kitchen. Now, so do you have the option to get a PDF? Can you get, what are some of the tiers? Talk a little bit about the tiers that people can get.
Well, that's one of the differences about Zoop, is that Zoop doesn't have tiers the same way that Kickstarter does. I do have a few bundles, but for the most part, Zoop is very much like any other e-commerce platform. So like if you want 2 copies of the book, that little plus sign, you just click that twice, and you can add 2 copies, or you can add 3, whatever you want to do. But yeah, we have a PDF for anybody who's international. Get on that PDF, because that's going to be the most cost-effective way to get it. But we have the printed copy. We have the whole Comics from the Kitchen bundle. You can get all the foreign press comics. If you can either get them all together, or if you go down to the bottom with all of our add-ons, you can add them on individually. If there's one that really sticks out to you, one you want to catch up on, you can grab it here. And then, we have ads. You can put an ad in the book. We have a retailer bundle. Then one thing that Zoop does that I really like is they have the tip jar down at the bottom, which you can it's just $1 that you can add onto the campaign. If you're like, hey, I just want to give $5. You can just click that little tip jar button 5 times, and it'll do that. But yeah, we got a little bit of everything. If you're interested in anything, Comics from the Kitchen related at all, this is going to be the place to go.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, no, this looks solid, dude. This is like a solid project. So the campaign ends in 16 days. Any ideas to when you will be fulfilling it, or when can people see the product once they get it? I mean, once they, if they pledge their campaign?
Yeah. When did I say? I think it'd be probably close to shipping out around November-ish.
Okay.
I think is kind of what I'm looking at, just because with everything I got going on, I do have to finish all the other stuff, lay the book out, all those kinds of things. make sure we get all the pages in, files, and that gives us time for anything that happens with the printer, because printers make mistakes too. So that's built in. But if the book funds, November will be, I think, the latest that people will be getting their copies.
Yeah, I think it says all art will be finalized by August 31st, shipping to supporters by November 2023.
Oh, there we go. All right.
I got you.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
There it is, man. There it is. Nah, Kylar, thank you so much. Do you have anything, any question for him, Sam?
No, I'm going to give you the screen. I want you to deliver your elevator pitch. Tell everybody why they need to back this campaign and where they can reach you on social media. So with that said, here you go. Go for it.
All right. Comics from the Kitchen. It's a cookbook and comic anthology. You get 20 comic stories. You get 20 recipes. They all fit together. You get to be a part of these creators' memories. You get to see Jimmy Gasparo making meatballs with his father. You get to see Ren Rios in her surfboarding trip. You get to be a part of Rowena Zanre's making a cake as a child, and like what that was like for her, and how she invented her own cake just out of necessity because her mom wouldn't let her bake a cake. It was too hot. So she got to make her own. You get to be a part of all that. You get to be a part of these people's memories and cook these stories along with us. And then you can find that at zoop.gg/c/comics from the kitchen. It's in the chat. It's on my Twitter. It'll be everywhere you can find Foreign Press online, which is FPress Comics on Twitter, Foreign Press Comics on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok a little bit, but I'm still dipping my toes in there. But anywhere you go on there, you can find the link to the campaign. You can find some information about it. You can see some of the art we have, and just come along and be a part of this awesome food and comic book experience that I think is truly one of a kind.
Outstanding, brother. Thank you for being on the show. We wish you a lot of success on your campaign, and good luck with your move.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I moved cross country and it was tough.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. And thank you for coming on Catch the Craze again, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, Kylar. Take care, man.
Peace.
Peace. Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I love talking to independents from all walks of life, and everybody has a different mission. Everybody has a different lane, and for anybody out there wanting to get in the game, here's somebody who's going through the game, trying to build a name. The challenges of working with other creators that fall out. We were just talking about something similar topic about not putting your best foot forward, right? Pretty interesting. I love the conversation.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It's funny how like a lot of indies, we go through the same thing. It's like, so you have a comic book, but now you need like some kind of company name, you know what I mean, to make it official. And so we always seem to, we have to give it a name. We got to put a name, something up there. And so he comes up with Foreign Press Comics, and that's the name of his company. And now he's branching off into, publishing and maybe publishing other people as well. So bringing them along. So it's funny how everybody has, like you said, a different journey, but our paths all kind of lead to the same destination. You know what I mean? So it's cool. It's cool. I love the behind the scenes stuff, the coming of age stories. How did you come up in this thing? What happened? Writing as a kid and then turning into comics and all that other stuff. Like, it's good stuff to hear, man. And the fact that he's got this book right now, for those watching, if you guys maybe caught us late, we were talking to Kylar Merrell. He's got a book called Comics from the Kitchen, where he combines comic books and recipes of, foods and things like that, cakes or whatever. He's got like a banana bread recipe in one of these things.
Who doesn't love banana bread, bro?
Yeah. So it's cool. So definitely, if you guys haven't done so yet, go to Zoop, ZOOP.com, and check out Comics from the Kitchen. Pledge.
Yeah. For some reason, Zoop doesn't give you a search option unless you are a member of Zoop. So I would, either you hit the link in our channel, or if you're looking and surfing the web, just type in, Foreign Press Comics Zoop, or Comics from the Kitchen Zoop, and it'll give you the link. It'll take you directly to Zoop. But when you go on Zoop, unless you have an account with them, it doesn't give you a search option, which is crazy. Zoop, fix your stuff, bro. What's up with you?
Every crowdfunding platform is different, man.
Yeah,
they
man.
don't
Man,
have
don't
no
make it
openings.
difficult, bro. You want to attract more people? Allow them to search. Let them, peruse, and window shop for a little bit and figure out whether or not, hey, I want to back that campaign or I don't.
And then hit
Right?
him with the sign up.
Yeah, then hit them with the sign up, but don't make it like exclusive. You knucklehead, you're not gonna build an audience. What's the matter with you?
What's
You
the
want to be
matter with
different?
you?
Don't do it that way, eh? What's the
Matter with
matter?
you?
That's the matter, you eh?
What's the matter? Oh, dude, nah, this is great, man. What next week? What do we have? Are you
Next week we
on
have,
next week? I know
yeah,
it's
we
Jason
have,
McNamara, but are you?
yeah, that's
we're on,
who it
right?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. McNamara. It was a fantastic name. I love that name.
Yeah.
It just rolls off the tongue. It sounds proper, like proper
Yeah.
12, but Irish whiskey by Conor McGregor. But
Did you see what Conor McGregor did to that?
he knocked out the mascot.
Oh, dude! Not only knocked him
Well,
out,
the
put him in the
mascot wanted to
hospital.
get hit
Put him in the hospital
because the mascot wanted to get hit. He
Well, it was a
didn't think
skit. It was
he
a
didn't
skit.
he didn't think it would hurt because he had all that padding. But you're talking about Conor McGregor, who's a professional.
Yo, but my dude, did you see the video?
I didn't see the video. I heard Dana White
okay.
talking about it.
Okay, so Conor McGregor, it's a skit. They're squaring off, whatever, this and that. And Conor goes, hits him hard with the first shot. So he falls to the ground. When he's on the ground, Conor comes up, bam, and gives him another shot while he's on the floor. And that did it.
He probably had Papa 12 Irish whiskey.
Bro, so he kind of took it a little to the extreme. I'm sure.
Well, Conor has a lot to prove. Number one, he lost against
He
Khabib,
knocks
right?
out a freaking
He comes back to the UFC. He gets his shin cracked, right? So his shin got cracked, which is why he lost the fight, because his shin was cracked. He couldn't continue. So he has a lot to put. Then he put on like 40 pounds of muscle,
What is
right?
he doing by not
And he hasn't fought in 2 years. So he has to come back. He's coming back to the UFC to fight. He has to prove
what is he
to
proving?
himself. You have a.
It's a mascot.
He's a megalomaniac, bro. If you ever get into the mind of Conor McGregor, everyone is an opponent, bro. Even the butterfly. If the butterfly squares up, he's going in.
But he's proving he's a jerk. What are you doing, Conor? Like, come on, bro.
Yo, you want some of this? You want some of this?
Nah, there's no justifying that. That's nuts. That's bananas, bro.
No, but it's not just Conor. How many mascots have been getting hit lately? Isn't it a bunch? They're acting up. Yo, who's giving these guys? Yo, these guys are acting up inside that costume. They get a little ornery. So yeah, you gotta put you in your place. Hey, what's the matter?
You don't put a man in a suit in the hospital when you're his hands are pretty much weapons, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Yo, dude, I watched the video, bro.
I heard. Dana White was
first time.
I saw an interview with Dana White, the president of UFC, and he said, why would you want Conor McGregor to hit you anyway? It doesn't matter if you had a costume on. Why would you even want that? It's Conor McGregor.
Because it reminded me of that Rocky scene where when Hulk Hogan is in it and he's Thunder Lips or whatever.
Oh,
and Thunder Lips goes crazy. He's like, yo, it's for charity. What are you doing? And he's going crazy. He's like, I gotta sell it. It reminded me of that joint, bro. I was like, holy cow, dude.
Conor's crazy. Yo, Conor is his worst. And it's sad because the money changed him, right? He got the money, and then he got lax. He got lazy. And that's how he lost to Khabib, because he got lazy.
He got civilized.
He got civilized, bro. It's like, don't let the money. Yo, look, if the money's going to taper you down or tame you, step away. Don't fight.
Who's he fighting next?
He's fighting. What's his name? He was the what's his name? I'll fight him. I watched Craze. Oh, you tripping?
Give him the crane kick.
He's coaching Ultimate Fighter against, what's his name? I forgot the guy's name. He's a wrestler. Forgot the guy's name, but the guy was a champion in the other division, not UFC, and then UFC bought his contract and bought him over. He hasn't won the belt yet. And so he wants to fight Conor. I forgot his name, but he's a short dude, but he's known for wrestling. And if Conor takes it seriously, but Conor put on too much weight, bro. You see all that muscle he put on? Conor was at his best when he had the Bruce Lee body. When he was tight, small, and ripped. No one could touch him. No one could touch him. The moment he starts putting on weight is when he starts losing. When he put on weight against Nate Diaz, it slowed him down. You know what I'm saying? Stay at your damn, stay in your lane, Connor. Come
Kinda.
on, Connor. What are you doing?
But anyway, so next week we're gonna have Mr. Jason McNamara, brilliant
Sounds like a
writer.
special agent.
He's got a book. He's got a book coming out from Dark Horse. It's called Past Tense.
Yes.
So it was supposed to actually come out on the 21st, but they've moved it to July, so he has more time to promote it. But he'll be on the show next week to talk about it. Very cool dude. I've spoken to him before. Full of energy. He's a teacher, actually. He's a writing teacher for comics. He teaches kids how to write comics.
Nice.
So he'll be on the show next week. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. And I have the new episode of the Crazy Tell Us is coming out Friday.
Nice.
You gotta check out that episode. It's a really good episode. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but you gotta check it out. Friday's coming out. I recorded it on Sunday. Then I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna put it out on Monday because we got the show on Wednesday." So I said, "Let me put it on Friday. End the week with a nice good one." And so that one's gonna be a good one. If you missed again, the last episode where there will never be another image revolution, you need to check that out. That one's popping. It's trending really well on YouTube, which is pretty dope. And again, thank you for the newest subscribers to the channel. You guys are rocking and popping, and both channels. I mean, the Art of Samuel is trending well as well. So thank you all out there. A lot of cool stuff, but your boy's grinding in the lab. So I'm not posting a lot because I'm working on. I just did another a cover for issue 6. It's pretty dope. It's got Patrick and Bobby in it, so which is pretty fantastic. You've been killing it with the topics. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. A lot of it comes from you guys out there. You guys will hit me up in my DM and say, hey, what can you talk about this or can you talk about that? So I'm like, all right, cool. And so I'll go do my homework and I'll just I'll drop one in there. But yeah, so I do appreciate that, Daphne. And congratulations, welcome to the club on Clip Studio Paint. Welcome to the club. I saw you killing it in there. So there's a lot of stuff going on. The books are being produced, but slower than it was when I was a brokepreneur. But issue 6, I will be launching that in October on crowdfunding on Kickstarter in October. So I'm taking the summer off, chillaxing, going to conventions. Right now, I just want to focus on conventions, connecting with people, and getting my name out there, and then promoting A Kid in the Comic. So shout out to akidinthecomic.com, akidinthecomic.com. No problem. You're killing it. I think your inking style is going to go to a whole nother level with Clip Studio Paint. I
think when you ink digitally, as long as you know the rules of inking, you know what I'm saying? Once you bring it into the digital, it's good money.
I'm telling you, I can tell you right now, and George would testify to this.
We can't talk. We can't talk anymore.
Yeah, because I've been drinking some old fashioned. So anyway,
old fashioned water.
When I got Clip Studio Paint, my confidence went to a whole nother level. Like I got so confident and comfortable with it. It made me feel a lot better than when I was using other programs.
Why?
And I was
able to. Why was it different than
something about the program that just what it is? And shout out, I forgot it. Damn, I gotta get better with names when I'm drinking. So anyway, shout out to
when you're drinking.
When I'm drinking,
you're the same way without drinking. When you're drinking.
There's an artist out there that's really proficient in these programs, and he gave me a lot of tips, and that's what accelerated my journey with Clip Studio Paint. And I'm not where I need to be. Like there's some levels to the game, especially with coloring. I'm still getting better and better and better with coloring. But
you know what I think that program has that Photoshop doesn't have is it allows you to clean up your lines.
Yeah.
So if you're a shaky writer, artist with the hands,
like that,
the program fixes that. Fixes that for you when you're inking it. And so it does give you that confidence like, yo, this looks great, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Because there's an option when you go. So when I'm sketching the thumbnails, when I'm doing the storyboarding phase of it in pencil, I'm doing it in traditional pixel, whatever it is. But then when I go to ink, I go to vector. I transfer the inking to a vector. So this way it cleans up those lines.
It's only one shot.
what happened to me. I didn't realize how much Sandra had over my. Yeah. Yes, it's like you become one with the force. It's crazy, yo. It's like I swear to you, I hated drawing on a tablet. I was like, I can't do this. And then my line work was always choppy when I used other programs. Clip Studio Paint, I got in it, and it was like I was in the zone. I was like, oh wait.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know I was this good.
It's crazy. It's crazy what confidence does, bro. It's crazy what confidence does.
There's a function there. When you go to ink, when you want to put the inks on, it's a square box. It looks like a box, like a 3D box, and it vectors your line work.
So it goes from Photoshop to Illustrator in one.
Yes.
Program.
It has that option. Boom. So, and I do it on the ink layer.
Yeah.
So this way the lines are cleaner. And so this way, no matter how you zoom on those black lines, it's always going to stay crisp and sharp.
And you can zoom and you can print that out in larger.
Yes.
In a larger size. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's what, I love that program. It's made I tell you, my confidence. I mean, you've seen, I was knocking out pages like there's nothing right. Like, bam, bam, bam. And it did wonder for my colors, and so I'm still getting better. Because I get envious. I see these colorists out there. I'm like, yo, I want to get to that level. I want to get to that level. So I'm still working on it. I'm still a student of the game. So, and I'm loving it. I love being a student because, the journey is real, bro. And as long as I'm thirsty for knowledge, I'm going to keep searching for it, bro.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. So yeah, man. So join us next week. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe. Also check out my website, getyourmeds.com. I'm going to be posting there the different places that I'm going to be as far as conventions go. I'm going to be doing a signing, like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, July 19th in Flushing, Queens, with Mark Torres and the team from Designated. Yes.
Yeah, so go to Casa Colombia, bro. The food is delicious over there.
We're going to be at Royal Collectibles. So check us out at Royal Collectibles on Wednesday, July 19th, 3 to 6 p.m. We're going to be there. But Sammy. So next week we're back on. Make sure you join us.
Next week we're back on. And again, don't forget, if you're in Texas, your boy's still on his Texas tour, hit me up. I'm going to be at the Denton Comic Art Exposition. It's a 1-day event. It's free to the public. I mean, I love that event. I did it last year. It was really great. Then I'll be at the grand opening of a brand new comic store, Collected Comics. So I'll be doing a book signing there with my boy Paulie G and Ben Dunn of Antarctic Press. So we'll be there. And then I'll be at College Station Comic Con in October, and then the Arlington Comic Fest. So, and then I got 2 more lined up for November, December, more to come on those things. And I'm also securing some book signings too. So lots to come going forward. Thank you all for watching Catch the Craze podcast. If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up, man. Support the algorithms. Help us help the indie community. When we grow, the indies grow, bro. That's how we do it. We've been doing this since 2005. We're in the game. We are the OGs of the game, right? We're gonna be on wheelchairs, like scrolling down the block, like, yo, Catch the Craze.
Catch the Craze. Get your meds. And we really mean it. Get your meds.
Get your meds. With that said, I am Sam, the crazy man, Vera.
George, the Dreamer Medina. Peace.
And we are
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. On Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.